Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. I gotta remind myself when I come into the studio not to wear my hat. The brim hits the mic. Anyway, sorry. Anywho, folks, it's one of those days. It's it's the start of the week. I mean, I'm chuckling because I enjoy life. It's the 22nd of May, 2017. How are you? Hey, free Pete Santilli. Go to Deb Jordan on Facebook and tell her I sent you. Anywho, what do we do? What do we have on this Monday? That I know it's Monday, people. I know. Don't get mad at me. That's just the way it is. Okay. Don't get angry at me. I didn't invent Monday. Anyway, what do we have, folks, that we look at? What do we look at what do we look at that helps us understand what's going on around the nation? It's interesting because I think, and I'm only going to throw this out here as an opinion, I don't have anything to back it up with. I think that we oftentimes look at something and say, what is that? And then we just ignore it because, we have other thoughts of going to play sports or, whatever. My point is we get distracted pretty damn easily. And I think the problem with that, and it's not so much that we get distracted. I really don't think it's that particularly. I think it's what we're distracted by. And I think that there's a percentage of our life where we just sit back and ignore a lot of stuff and we're not distracted that much. I think it's just a portion, just a percentage of it. Small percentage, mind you. But there is a portion of our life where we just sit back and go, well, I'm just going to sit here. But we don't have those, we don't have those moments very often. What am I talking about? I'm talking about basically the naysayers and the people that literally hate Donald Trump. I'm talking about people who literally despise the man now that he's president of the United States of America. Is he going to wind up being like Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan? I hope he's better than Ronald Reagan, even though he's in the same category as far as beliefs are concerned. But I look at these naysayers and I look at these people who hate Trump, who hate this administration, who hate the fact that other people like myself want peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the nation. They want the bloatedness of Washington, D.C. to go away. Do you know why they hate Trump and they want the government to pay for everything? Do you know why? Because these naysayers and these people that hate Trump, and I pull no punches here, but these people that hate Trump are nothing but cowards. And they're lazy and they don't care. I've seen several articles already where women on welfare or other things of that nature, people on disability, all this. Not everybody, but a vast majority of these people, based upon what I've seen in the last 18 months specifically, have just been lazy. They've just said, why, saw, an article about a mother who has 7 kids, and she said, why should I work? The government's paying for everything. Huh. And that brings me to this. Government should not pay for everything. And when I say government, I'm specifically talking about Washington, D.C. When I refer to states, I will say states. But government should not be paying for everything. I had a friend of mine, and I can go to her Facebook page and tell you exactly what she said. My friend literally summed up everything in one sentence that I believe a vast majority of the haters of Trump believe. Okay? As soon as every so often my browser decides to burp. It's because, folks, I'm using Wi-Fi in the studio. I'm not directly plugged in. But my friend summed up something in one sentence that, to me, literally describes the issue with these naysayers. And these, these people that just completely hate Trump. It's one of those things where, and I'm looking for, if my browser decides to burp again, I'll deal with it later. But it's one of those things where the haters will continue to hate without justification. It's the point at which these people who hate Donald Trump, who don't like his administration, that want him impeached, that want to overthrow the government, that want to create a communist country within the borders of the United States of America, these people are nothing but cowards. They're lazy. They're stupid. They have absolutely no idea what they're asking for, because here's my point of all that in the last 9 minutes. These people have never opened up a book to investigate or research our past of the United States of America as a whole. I have. I've seen the history through the documents and through, stories from the past. Not the revisionist history, but I'm talking actual letters from, people in the military or families, or letters to family members who have military members, and, this kind of thing. And just, and politicians, and when it was in Philadelphia, when the Capitol was in Philadelphia and all that. Reading those things, you get a better outlook. Not this revisionist history you see in the current and past textbooks in the last 50 some odd years. The fact that we have people who literally foam at the mouth over Donald Trump and get really pissed off at what he is doing, these people really, really need some serious freaking help. Okay? Seriously. I'm not kidding you either. I am not kidding you. My friend put up a meme, and I'll share this meme and her response to this meme on American Liberty Radio podcast. Now, I like my friend, and we've known each other for well over 30 years, since high school. But it's amazing that people would ever get to the point that they would hate someone that much. It's just a wonder. Now, I clicked on the picture on my friend's page, and it's from the Facebook page America's Freedom Fighters. And underneath somebody wrote, he must be doing something right. And somebody responded with, President Trump is not hated by millions of people, just by the liberals. The reason the liberals hate him is because they are liberal. And I support President Trump, which means I do not support Obama bin Laden. And it goes on and on and on. And there's, a lot on that page. And I will share that. You may not see the replies, but I'm going to share that on American Liberty Radio podcast. But I'm going to go and share my friend's comment on that. I'm not going to put her name because, I'm not going to. That's just not something I do. Okay. But I want to make my point in this way, as I've probably done seconds ago, but I will say it in this manner. People shouldn't hate just because they're not getting what they want. And on the B side of that, people should not hate, period. There is a strong dislike for a lot of things. But to hate someone, that just means they're void of any compassion, they're void of any empathy, they're void of any sympathy for anyone else if they continue to hate someone for no reason whatsoever. Okay. For some reason, when I went to copy and paste that, it didn't work. So, let me move on. I've spent too much time on this. So let me move on. Don't hate someone if you don't have a reason to. And on the B side of that, don't hate anyone anyway. We can have strong dislikes. We can have strong opinions about, oppositions to whatever we feel is not best for us, whatever. But there's no reason to hate. There's just absolutely no reason to hate. But people are going to continue to hate Donald Trump because of the fact that they're not getting what they want, and these people are too damn lazy to go out and get what they need. Now, I said it, and that's the way it is. Not because I say it, but that's my observation. I've seen way too many people take advantage of other people and the system to get what they want. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I grew up in Stockton, California. I hung out with a lot of people who were on, welfare, who were on disability, who were out in the streets trying to make an extra buck, that kind of thing. And looking back on that, they didn't hate the system. They didn't hate the Reagan administration. No, they didn't. They hated the fact that there were people, or they strongly disliked the people around them. The people that I hung out with, they didn't like the way the city was run or the way the state was run. That was one thing. That was in the 80s. Now, 30 years plus later, people are hating everything. Just don't hate. Don't hate. You can strongly dislike something and have an opinion about it. That's fine. But to hate something, if you hate something, there is something within you that you're missing. There's a void in there somewhere that just... Let me move on. I don't want to get philosophical. I don't want to break out my psychology books and start, analyzing everything, but I'm going to sit here and drink my coffee and I'm going to tell you about the news there, Hey, before I do, I want to give you a heads up. I live in Billings, Montana right now, and in Billings, Montana, there's a lot of stuff going on, including on the 25th, there's a vote for a congressman, Greg Gianforte, I believe it is, and somebody named Quist. There's a debate going back and forth, and there's a lot of negative campaigning on both sides. And it's not so negative like I hate the other person. No, it's the record. It's the standard that Greg Gianforte has that has people looking at him more than the other guy. Okay. And I'm a political atheist in this. I don't give one rip about the parties. I think we need to get rid of them. But on the 25th, which is 3 days from now, there's going to be a vote for a congressman. So that's going on. Well, on the other lighter side of news here in Billings, there's a Nova Center for the Performing Arts has a show going on right now, and this is the last weekend coming up. It's closing this weekend, and it's called Suds the Musical. So contact Nova Center for the Performing Arts at novabillings.org for more information, or go to 2317 Montana Avenue here in Billings and go ask them. I think it's 20. Let me give you the right address. I think it's 2317. Let me go look. Don't quote me on this. Hang on. Let me go look. I want to give you the right information. You can go to novabillings.org for more information, of course. But yes, I was right. 2317 Montana Avenue here in Billings. And if you want to call them, you can do that. This is the closing weekend for Suds the Musical. Bowling over with fun. Nova is excited to present this 50s jukebox musical, Suds the Musical. This weekend is the last weekend, folks, so check it out. Go to novabillings.org. And if you're in the Billings area, just go to 2317 Montana Avenue and check them out. Or if you're not able to get out, or if you're out and about and want to call them, you can call them at 591-9535. That's 406-591-9535. novabillings.org. The next show that they got coming up, by the way, just to stay here for a second, is School of Rock, the musical. That's in July 21st through the 30th. So check that out. School of Rock, the musical, a youth production. So that's going to be pretty cool. All right. So check that out. And of course, they have summer camps for all your all your theatrical needs. Enrollment is now on for Nova Center for the Performing Arts summer camps. Campers will be offered various camp opportunities based on age and experience. And for more information, go to novabillings.org. So thank you guys over there. And I'm kind of biased because I'm running the sound for Suds. Not this weekend. I had some things to do and some other prior commitments. So, yes. So this is the closing weekend of Suds the Musical. Check it out. It's fun, man. It is fun. Just go check it out. Oh, onward and upward. And one last thing, a little shameless self-promotion here. If you like American Liberty Radio Network and you want to support independent media, not this mainstream propaganda media that's out there, if you want to support American Liberty Radio Network and get the truth and the facts without the BS, go ahead and support the network. You can go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com, go to the sponsors page, and drop $1 in the kitty, become a patron, and help me keep the lights on around here. So there you go, folks. Keep me caffeinated too, because I like coffee. So go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com, go to the sponsors page, become a patron. Click that link, and thank you very much. For a second there, every once in a while, I get that radio voice going, you know. Hi. You know, hello. Anyway, I'm having fun, folks. It's Monday, the 22nd of May, 2017. Let's go here. RT is reporting leaked Facebook docs reveal self-harm content allowed by network's moderators. Social network does not censor self-mutilation live streaming. The supposed Facebook guidelines to moderators released by The Guardian say that the live streams of acts of self-harm should not be removed because the social network, quote, doesn't want to punish people in distress, unquote. Facebook has yet to respond to the alleged major leak published by the newspaper, dubbing the release Facebook Files. It supposedly details how the social media giant moderates graphic content, including violence, hate speech, and terrorism, pornography, and racism. But no, I'm just going to put the rest on American Liberty Radio podcast. They're on Facebook. People have been banned. People have been censored. I have a couple of people that have told me that, including Nick Tucker of Distorted Reality. Definitely has found other ways of getting the message out. And conservative talk, conservative thoughts, anything like that you want to put on Facebook, you can put it on there, but chances are hardly anybody's going to see it because of the algorithms and the keywords that they program into the codes of Facebook to say if this word comes up, just, go here, whatever. I don't know coding, so. But yeah, the algorithms, you got to look at that too as well. And It's Dennis Kucinich, deep state out to destroy President Trump, politicization of intentionally nonpartisan agencies, a threat to our republic. That's on Infowars.com. Muslims attack journalist in England for investigating sex slavery. Tommy Robinson has been attacked multiple times, and the police have yet to do anything about it. Well, I'm sure people are going to start doing something about it. WikiLeaks reveal former FBI Director Mueller gave Russia uranium in 2009. Head of Russian probe has past connection with Kremlin. Here's a little something. This is all on Infowars.com, by the way, folks. I'll put this up. This is from Bloomberg. American cities are running out of room. Agenda 21 rollout continues as planned. My thought about that headline is this. It does not matter what you've been told. It doesn't. Does not matter what you've been told. Okay? It's happening. And that's just the way it is. You've got to do something to stop this. Okay? 22nd May 2017, Bloomberg on Infowars.com. An article from Bloomberg posted on Infowars.com. A shortage of homes for sale has bedeviled U.S. house hunters in recent years, so why don't builders build more? One problem is they're running out of lots to build on, at least the places that people want to live. Cities that were sprawling before the Great Recession have begun to sprawl again. Space-constrained cities, meanwhile, have run out of room to build. That reality has spurred developers to focus on center city neighborhoods where high-density building is allowed, and new units command exceedingly high prices. At some point, said Issy Roman, chief economist at BuildZoom, vacant lots in desirable urban neighborhoods will run out. Quote, if you have 3 days of rations left, you'll be fine for on day 1, 2, or 3, said Roman, author of new research demonstrating how home construction patterns. Excuse me, let me reread that. Izzy Roman said if you have 3 days of rations left, you'll be fine for day 1, 2, 3. Roman said, author of new research demonstrating home construction patterns, quote, on the 4th day, you have a problem. That's the way it is. It says read more. And I've known this for quite some time. Actually, I've known this since Reagan was president. That if things, go to hell in a handbasket, which of course almost did back then we don't, folks, on average, just on average, a family of 4 does not have enough food to last 3 days, let alone 4 days. Okay? This is already that's the facts. I cannot, I don't doubt that. I've looked at the numbers that have been crunched over the years, and they've gotten worse. Because when Reagan was president, if things went to hell in a handbasket back then, we had enough to do what we needed to do, and eventually things would get better. But here it is, 30 years on or more. And if the lights go out, we don't have that much time, folks. Charlie Daniels, the country rock, southern rock artist. Charlie Daniels says, we need 1,000 Paul Reveres because we aren't going to allow the radical left to steal our country from us. If America is going to survive, it is time for this generation of Americans to take a stand. I totally and absolutely agree. And that's a headline I will put up on American Liberty Radio podcast. The thing that you have to remember, and I emphasize have to, because it is something that is our part of our daily life, is that we have to do what we have to do to take care of our families, our friends, our coworkers, our neighborhoods, our cities, our states. We have to do this, folks. There's no question about it. I'll be back in 2 minutes. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Don't say you haven't been warned. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com. And Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!"
American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There is a storm on the horizon, a time of hardship and pain. This battle has been won, but the war against the machines rages on. Skynet's global network remains strong, but we will not quit until all of it is destroyed. This is John Connor. There is no fate but what we make.
Hey, folks, welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. This is the American Liberty Radio podcast for Monday, the 22nd of May, 2017. You like that voice? Yeah. Hey, folks, if you have any voiceover needs, contact me. Hey, I'm for hire. Contact me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Yeah, folks. I don't understand why, and this is just an observation, folks. I don't understand why these far-left liberal loons want to destroy the United States of America. And they'll deny that. They'll say, oh, we don't want to destroy it. No, you just want to take everything from everybody and take it for yourself and leave everybody destitute and, enslave them in whatever grand design you have. See, I don't understand that. I mean, I know how it works. I understand how that works. I understand the mindset that these jackasses have, but I don't know why they want the outcome to be the U.S. being a desolate country where there's only patches of civilization, not the whole country being civilized, or having, growth in the mass areas of the country. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And again, I may have overlooked something, so it doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. I may have overlooked something, so I don't understand it. Christina Marcos over at The Hill, this is an article posted on Infowars.com. From yesterday, the 21st of May, 2017, Republicans fearing for their safety as anger threats mount. In the last few weeks alone, numerous Republicans have had their lives threatened. A growing number of House Republicans are facing physical threats from angry constituents in their districts, leading many to fear for their safety. In the last few weeks alone, the FBI arrested a man threatening Representative Martha McSally's. She's a Republican from Arizona. The FBI arrested a man threatening Martha McSally's life. A woman pursued Representative David Kustoff, a Republican of Tennessee, in her car, and Representative Tom Garrett, Republican of Virginia, heightened security at the town hall event in response to death threats. Other Republicans still holding town halls say they haven't felt physically threatened by protesters, but they worry about the depth of anger from some constituents in the polarized environment and what it means for political civility. Scores of GOP lawmakers have experienced going viral this year with videos of constituents shouting their disagreement on support of President Trump and the policies such as the GOP's healthcare bill. Lately, though, the Republicans have observed some furious constituents who appear to be going even further. Donald Trump ran under the Republican ticket because there were more voters. Now he wants to set everything right and make everything right. And do what is profitable and productive for the United States of America. That's what he wants to do. And even his own party, or the party that he ran, the party banner that he ran under, the party itself is coming unglued with what he's doing. So you can't win, man. You can't. Because nobody's happy. Nobody's happy. And I'll tell you why, and it's real simple. Because nobody's getting what they want. So let me ask this overall question to everyone in the United States of America. What do you want? What the hell do you want? You want everything for free? Well, guess what? That's not going to happen. We had police departments, schools, roads, fire prevention personnel, fire departments, all of that prior to 1913. And then a group of people met on Jekyll Island in 1910, 1911, and guess what? 1913 rolls around and President Woodrow Wilson's arm was, basically twisted by the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds saying, we need a bank of our own. We don't want to put it in the system. That was all structured. That was all put together. That was all designed for the sole purpose of loaning money to America because we were damn near broke at that time. And these billionaires at that time had all the freaking money that you can think of at that time. And they decided that they wanted a bank, so they talked to President Woodrow Wilson, who signed the Federal Reserve Act into law. Now, how was that coffer of the Federal Reserve going to be, filled? And it was real simple. Taxes. Well, so a few months later, he signed the Internal Revenue Act, creating not only something that was highly unneeded at that point, but he also signed into law, for a group of people to twist the arms of people to get money out of them. So I cannot believe that people would actually fall for the bullcrap that's going on now, considering that it happened then. And a good question has been posed to me many, many times. If people are so angry, why don't they get up and do something about it? Because they're freaking cowards. They're freaking cowards. Oh, yeah, that's easy for you to say. You're sitting behind a microphone. Hey, if there were 25, 30 people right now standing in this studio and we wanted to go protest somewhere, I'll lead them. Where are we going? Point the direction. We'll go to Helena, Montana, and we'll freaking protest out in front of the governor's mansion and in the Capitol, by the Capitol building. We've been to the Capitol building, by the way. I have. We walked around inside while something was going on. Some event was going on, and it was great. But I'm going to tell you something. By taking the offense toward government ain't going to help. By going out and protesting, yes, that puts your face and name on the news and you put a target on your back. So what are we supposed to do? Well, let's see. What are we supposed to do? When the enemy comes to your door, you defend your family. When the enemy comes to your city, you defend your city. When the enemy comes to the walls of your fortress, you defend your fortress. I'm just saying. Well, I've been accused many, many years ago when Clinton was president, when William Jefferson Clinton was president. I've been accused of calling for a coup against the United States of America. No, that's not what I'm calling for. I'm calling for people to use logic, use common sense, and protect themselves in a defensive manner from an out-of-control government. Now, how do you do that? I don't know. What's your situation like? I had a friend of mine ask me once, he posed it in this way. He said, if 50 people came to you and they wanted you to lead them in the defense of a part of a neighborhood against a group of people, would you do it? And I said, damn straight. As my friend would say, damn skippy, I would. Because it's my city. And that's only a macrocosm of what the rest of the United States is. And I'm not alone in this, folks. There's other people like me who would say, hey, let's get a bunch of people together. Let's go out in our neighborhoods at night. Let's do, go on different shifts, and let's protect our neighborhoods. And guess what? I know that there are people out there doing that right now. And don't give me this crap, it's a neighborhood watch thing. No, these people take it upon themselves. After work, come home, they do this. There's people out there that do this, I'm sure. I'm sure. Now, when I was living in Stockton, California, there was a moment where, or a few days, not a moment, but a few days when one of my friend's mothers said that my friend had run away from home. She was young, 14, 15 years old, right? And I was, at that time, I was in high school, 17. So a couple of my friends, my buddies, talked to my friend's parents and stuff, and we sat down and we worked this thing out. And I said, well, let's do this. I told my other friend and I, who were talking to the parents, I said, let's, where does this person hang out? Where do you, we started questioning. And we found the general area. And we started driving around that general area, and we were on CB radios. I still have CB radios. Remember those Citizen Band radios? Get those out of your closet and dust them off. You're going to need them. And we started going around the neighborhood with CBs and other friends in cars with CB radios, and we started looking around. Not 15 minutes after we went out there one night, and this was on an additional night. On one night we were out there looking around this particular area. We pulled over to talk, to kind of regroup and everything, and up comes, where we were parked, up comes this police officer, and Stockton police officer, and he's asking, one of us, are you looking for this person, blah, blah, can we help? And yeah, of course, thanks, A couple of days later, we were still doing it, but a couple of days later, my friend's mom called me and said, they came home. And it's like, okay. And it's like, so we went out and did this. But the police showed up as we're parked, kind of regrouping and resetting and finding out where else we could go. And we had a map of Stockton right there. We had, the city, everything right there. And we talked to the officer. And it's like, yeah, we were here, and we went, and he going, well, we'll keep our eyes open. And they said, how would you like us to help? And I, I was surprised by that. So, but nowadays, you wouldn't get that. Nowadays, you wouldn't get that. I don't know why, but you just wouldn't. And I could be wrong, and I may have overlooked something, but you wouldn't get that nowadays. If there was a group of people driving around the city with CB radios looking for someone, the cops would probably stop you for some sort of made-up bull crap and then haul your ass into jail. But I may be overlooking something, so let me know. Billings, Montana. Or Stockton, where I grew up. I may be overlooking something, so tell me if I am or not. A lot of things are happening. I'm going to go in this direction over here. I'm over here, like you can see where I'm pointing. But I'm going to go into this direction because it's something that we really need to pay attention to. And it's something that I don't think any of us have taken into consideration. It is the president's responsibility to keep the nation secure. Number one off the top of the list. It is the president's obligation and duty as the president of the United States to keep the United States of America secure from enemies, foreign and domestic. Period. He's the numero uno guy when it comes to security. Okay? The military secures the borders. The local law enforcement secures cities, counties, and townships. And then you and I are the neighborhood people who keep an eye out. That's generalizing, but that's pretty much how it is. So when we see something that's out of place, we call the authorities. Oh, and by the way, we do constitutionally still have the power to engage in citizen's arrest. Did you know? Go look that up. It's different in various locations, but check that out in your location. Fox News is reporting from yesterday, Trump calls for stamping out extremism in speech to Muslim leaders. Quote, "This is a battle between good and evil," unquote. President Trump Sunday, in a highly anticipated speech to Muslim leaders during his first foreign trip, is expected to call for unity in the fight to stamp out extremism. During his second day of his trip abroad, Trump's speech in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, will address the leaders of 50 Muslim-majority countries to cast the challenge of extremism as a, quote-unquote, battle between good and evil, and urge Arab leaders to, quote, drive out the terrorists from your places of worship, unquote, according to a draft of the speech. Quote, "Our goal is a coalition of nations who share the aim of stamping out extremism and providing our children a hopeful future that does honor to God," unquote. Trump is expected to say, according to experts of his speech, is expected to say this. This was yesterday, the 21st of May, 2017. Quote, "Our friends will never question our support and our enemies will never doubt our determination," unquote. Trump will tell Muslim leaders that the only way to combat radical terrorism is, quote, "if the forces of good are united," unquote, and calls for countries to do their, quote, "fair share," unquote, in the fight. Quote, "America is prepared to stand with you in pursuit of shared interests and common security," unquote, he said. There says read more, so I'm going to go put that on American Liberty Radio Network podcast page. American Liberty Radio podcasts. I'm going to go into overdrive, folks. I know I am. I just know it. There's so much to share in the last 24 hours. When you look at the foreign dignitaries that come to this country speaking about their country, and wanting their country to be secure, who do they look at? They look at us because they think that we're the world's police. And we're not. We're not. And unfortunately, and I say this with emphasis, unfortunately, we seem to relish in the fact, seem to revel in the fact that we are the world's police. Okay? And we enjoy going out and and conquering and conquering countries and displacing people for the sake of freedom? I thought the military needs to stay in the United States of America, protecting our borders from enemies, foreign and domestic. I think that's what the pledge means when you raise your hand at the, when you join the military. In the induction ceremony. It's not, I will protect other countries' people from their own civil wars. No. It's the pledge to protect the United States of America from enemies, foreign and domestic. So let's think about that one for a minute. And let me switch gears and go here. America is a great country. I don't doubt that. But we have factions of people calling themselves Christian or religious people. You can encompass a whole bunch in there. Who are intolerant of anything other than what they have been indoctrinated to believe. Okay? Now, I have a lot of Christian friends and all of that, and they will tell me I'm wrong, but when you bring up specific things to them, such as, do you have the guts to protect this nation? They'll always say, or I should say a vast majority of them will say, I'll just get on my knees and pray and let God take care of the rest. What that tells me is, number one, you're intolerant of other people's beliefs, and you're a freaking coward. Or should I say a conscientious objector. They asked me that when I was recruited, when I enlisted in the Air Force. Are you a conscientious objector? I went, no. And I wasn't, and I'm not. Because the violence of the enemy begets the violence of the defender. And violence is not the key thing. It's the purpose for which we defend ourselves, for the peace, freedom, and liberty and security we want. And that includes defending ourselves against enemies domestically. So this is something that you have to take into consideration, look at it all, rip that whole concept apart, and then ask yourself this question. Why are you a coward? Why are you intolerant, Christians, to anybody else that doesn't believe your way? Sounds like some Muslim sects, whatever, the religion of the Muslim. I'm also going to say this as a follow-up to that. Not all Christians are intolerant. Not all Muslims are jihadists. I'll just lay that out there and let you decide which one to take. Okay? Here's an interesting tidbit I just found on Breitbart.com. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates will donate $100 million to Ivanka Trump proposed Women Entrepreneurs Fund. 2 Arab countries have pledged to donate $100 million toward a fund designed for women entrepreneurs proposed by the president's eldest daughter and advisor, Ivanka Trump, according to a report. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates will contribute $100 million toward the World Bank's Women Entrepreneurs Fund, which Ivanka proposed, the Wall Street Journal reported. ABC News reported that the World Bank president, Jim Yong Kim, announced the country's pledge at a Sunday event on women's economic empowerment with Ivanka. At the event, Ivanka praised Saudi Arabia for making progress as a nation towards empowering women, but she added that, quote, there's still a lot of work to be done, unquote. She also said, Saudi Arabia's progress, especially in recent years, is very encouraging, but there's still a lot of work to be done and freedoms and opportunities to continue to fight for. The stories of Saudi women, such as yourselves, catalyzing change, inspire me to believe in the possibility of global women's empowerment, unquote. The Islamic nation prohibits women from driving and requires that women get permission from a man to travel in public. It also imposes strict segregation of the sexes and requires the women cover themselves in public. That's from Breitbart. There's a little bit more to that, but I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. I'm appalled at the fact that some countries treat women like crap. I am appalled at some very industrialized, westernized nations still suppressing women's rights. It just doesn't make any sense to me why countries would do that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just don't. It is so backwards. It is so wrong that these countries need to be held accountable. Every single country who is violating human rights needs to be held accountable and needs every piece of funding taken from them, including humanitarian aid, until their government leaders realize, wait a minute, we can't suppress people. We can't enslave them. And this goes beyond women's rights. We need to pull all funding from every other country that does not treat people with respect in regards to who they are as humans, regardless of their male or female. And we need to put them on notice. You either treat people with respect, kindness, or we're going to pull our funding. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that won't work. Yeah, it is. It'll work. Breitbart is also... let me go look at the time. I don't want to get beyond myself here. Okay. Top of the hour, folks. Top of the hour, and I will be back in just a little bit. I won't go away for too long. I'll go into overdrive, and we'll talk later. This is American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. Check it out, folks. I'll be back right after this.
Hello, everybody. This is Brian Lang with Live Truth Radio and TV. You're listening to Wayne S. Pierce with American Liberty Radio.
Smashing through the lies of the mainstream media, tearing down the walls of misinformation.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Shattering the foundations of the new world order.
To bring China into the creation of a new world order.
The truth, the facts, no bullshit.
In this new world, such dangerous currents have swept along faster than our efforts to contain them. And that is why we cannot afford to be divided.
The American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
For more information, go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com or email them at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. You know what you want. You want the truth. You want the facts. Without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Distorted Reality. I am your host, Nick Tucker, and I welcome you to the broadcast.
Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask the questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law. Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future.
folks. Welcome back. This is the American Liberty Radio podcast right here on American Liberty Radio Network for the 22nd of May, 2017. How are you? Are you doing good? Are you happening? You woke up, so it's a Monday, so, well, in some parts of the world, it's Tuesday, so happy Tuesday to you. Yeah, welcome. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. If you have questions, please ask. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. It's just awesome today. Just really, really awesome. Except for California. California is now a communist state, so let's just leave it at that. But let me tell you what they're lying about. California unemployment falls to the lowest rate in 16 years. California's unemployment rate fell to 4.8% in April. This is what Breitbart.com is reporting. The lowest rate since the top of the dot-com bubble in December of 2001. The number of Californians employed in non-farm jobs actually fell by 16,300 jobs in April, but on a seasonally adjusted basis, the unemployment rate ticked down by 0.1%. The state's employment growth since the bottom of the Great Recession in January of 2010 is tracking at a gain of 2.4 million jobs, according to the California Employment Development Department. California's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate still lags the national rate, which also ticked down by 0.1% in April to 4.4%, as American employers added 211,000 non-farm payroll jobs. There were 923,000 unemployed Californians at the end of April, down 20,000 from the month for the month, and down 132,000 from the same time last year. Yeah. There's 39, almost 40 million people in California. Almost 40 million people. Last year, over 1 million people were unemployed. Okay? This is on Breitbart.com. I'll let you go read the rest of that and let your mind spin on all the numbers they're putting up there. So there you go. It's published on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Still on Breitbart.com. Yeah. Now, I want to put forth an idea. Just an idea. Just put this out there for right now. Okay. We've got a world that has gone completely crazy because you have two factions of people in the nation of the United States of America. You have those that are going to work hard and develop things and be innovative and move beyond their limitations and make life better for themselves and other people. You have those people. And you have the other side of that, which is the people that want to take everything from those hardworking individuals and have everything for free. And no, don't give me this crap. I already know that you want crap for free. Okay, that's just the way it is. I know this. My thought is this. If, just saying if, you get everything for free, everything you ever wanted for nothing, and you don't have to work for anything. You know, how much of life, how much of yourself, how much of your family, how much of your environment and the things that you have, how much of that will you appreciate? How much of it will you appreciate? If you work hard for something and you say, I've worked hard for this, I got this thing right here. I've worked for it. I've saved for it. And here it is. I have it. You appreciate it a lot more than if somebody just handed you something and said, here, it's yours. It's a known fact that people who get stuff for free never, absolutely, positively, never appreciate anything that they're given. It is a proven fact. Now, whether or not you appreciate what you have, that's on you. But it's all on an individual basis. But it is a proven fact that anybody that gets anything for free, that doesn't have to work for it, that think they deserve it, never appreciates it. Never. There's only a small percentage, I'm talking probably less than 1%, of the people that are given things. Very small percentage of people really appreciate it. I could be wrong and I could have overlooked something. I don't know. You tell me. Go to American Liberty Radio Podcast and post your reply to that. Now, let me ask you a question about Saudi Arabia. It says here, Trump sets off meme with glowing orb photo op in Riyadh. What? I'm just wondering, what the heck is that? That's on Breitbart.com. Let me click on that article so that, because I read the headline, I'll put it on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you to check out. The parties, the political parties in this country are just, they're nothing but a joke. They're nothing but pieces of crap, and that's just the way it is. Donald Trump was on with Dr. Oz, and this was posted today, the 22nd of May, 2017, at brainhealthnews.org, brain-health-news.org. I'll put this up on the thing, American Liberty Radio Podcast. Dr. Oz with Trump, quote, "This tiny pill gave me the mental and physical stamina that won me this election." Now, I want to put this on here because I want you to see how much clickbait is becoming, clickbait ads and all of that is becoming so mainstream, people are believing this crap. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm not even going to insult you by putting this on American Liberty Radio Podcast. I told you where it was. And let me give you slowly the URL. www, obviously. brain-health-news.org/Donald-Trump-fuse/ D as in dog, T as in time, .html. And if you didn't get all that, you can just, pause and go back and, I'm not, clickbait. That's something else I wanted to talk about today. Clickbait. See, I hit the back button on that article. It took me right back to the home page of worldhealthnews.org. And basically, it's clickbait. That is on, matter of fact, on the right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. It's on the right-hand side of Breitbart.com. Okay. And it says, on the right-hand side of Breitbart.com, it says, take a look. Those are all clickbait ads, folks. Those. I want to talk about that for a second. Those are nothing more. This is Breitbart.com. And when you click on the article that I talked about, the meme is born, Donald Trump touches glowing orb with Middle East leaders, or it may even be on the homepage. On the right-hand side, if you scroll down, you'll see, take a look. All that is clickbait ads. All of that, clickbait ads. I don't know if they get paid per click or what. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. And it said, also, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll say, you might like. You look at under that, and it has all these pictures, all these things. That's another clickbait ads. Why in the hell do these sites have clickbait ads? Why? So I'm helping you identify what these ads are, what headings they're under, all this. And I can tell you this much, that if I'm going to throw this in there, if you want to get to the truth and the facts, you have to identify what all this other disinformation is to get to the truth and the facts. Because it's like, well, it's all this disinformation is like garbage. All these clickbait ads are like garbage. All of this is just, what you want is the truth and the facts. You have to identify what is wrong to find out how to get to what is right. Okay, so that's my take on the clickbait ads. Flynn. Inclusive, that's in quotes, North Dakota students walking out on Pence commencement address misown irony. I'll put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. No Notre Dame students walked out before walking on graduation day when Bill Cosby delivered the commencement address 27 years ago. Vice President Mike Pence, who does not socialize with women at venues serving alcohol, let alone confuse roofies for olives when making martinis for the gentler sex, received no such warm welcome in South Bend this weekend. I'll just let you read that. I'll put that on American Liberty Radio podcasts on Facebook. You can check that out for yourself. I go back to a little bit talking about clickbait ads. Now, ads are good because they help out networks. You see it on TV, you hear it on, all over the place. But places like this, like independent media, are funded mostly by the person themselves. I don't know too many independent, networks that are on the internet that are funded by ads or anything of that nature, except for Late Night in the Midlands that I know of. And I know Michael Vera over there. Good guy. Really gets down to the basics of everything and talks about everything under the sun. So if you want something so diverse like that, then go to latenightinthemidlands.com. Tell them I sent you. But ads keep the network going. And it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. But the opposite to an ad for your product or service is much different than these clickbait ads that are out there, because I'm going to say this, and if you're out there listening and you're one of those people that create and put out these clickbait ads, you're nothing but snake oil salesman. That's just the way it is. You want legitimate returns on your investments in ads, then you put out legitimate ads. Your local, your statewide products and services from people that live in your areas. You go ahead and do that, because then you will be seen as a legitimate advertiser. Okay? Because it's important to know that the support of independent media and independent ideas are crucial to the betterment of the United States of America. To borrow a phrase from President Trump, make America great again. But if you're, and I'm still talking to those people that create these clickbait ads, if you want to be that unethical, you have no morals. That you would go out that far to develop something that is deceitful. And you're just barely touching the line of illegalities when it comes to advertising. Because you know how far you can go, because your attorneys have told you so. But see, legitimate organic ads for local products and services from people that live in the area are what make the area better. That's what it is. That's what it is. American Liberty Radio Network is a network that I created a few years back to address the current events of the nation. To look at what is going on, and as I like to say, who's behind the curtain pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. I've developed this network to share with people. But see, I can only share it in a way that is going to be productive to other people. That was my goal. I want other people to know what's going on, and I want them to encourage them to do what is right for their family, friends, coworkers, city, state, neighborhood, whatever. Because you're the ones that live there. I live there too, in this neighborhood in Billings, Montana, and I guarantee you, we've got our moments of excitement. But independent media is a far cry from clickbait-supported mainstream propaganda media. Now, I'm not saying Breitbart is one of those, but they are credible. Some of their articles are spot on, but who knows? I know independent networks online that can't do anything without sponsors. They can't even, come in and turn the lights on in the studio to do a show because they don't have the resources to do it. And so they are relegated to doing one show a week or whenever they can. Those people need our support. Now, it's a little bit different with American Liberty Radio Network because I do look for support because I know how important independent media is. Now, when you look at independent media, let me go back about 30 or some odd years ago and tell you exactly what independent media came from. Pirate radio, college radio, National Public Radio, when they used to be able to be so diverse that they'll allow any voice to express themselves. See, independent media is basically your voice. It's basically your voice because you have a voice. And don't let the mainstream media tell you that you don't have a voice. Don't let your mayor, don't let your council members, don't let your county board of supervisors tell you that you don't have a voice. You have a voice, and that voice is very, very important. And the more that you conduct yourself in a very professional manner and get your voice out there and get heard, the more that people will see what's going on. American Liberty Radio Network is a network built upon the premise that people needed to have free speech. And I take that on myself personally and say, I got something to say and I'm going to say it. But American Liberty Radio Network is basically there to give you the current event news, to give you what's going on, to, as I do every day, read parts of articles to you, post it for you to read the rest, to, give you the perspectives that these articles have, and to give you my opinion and my perspective on them. But just like anything else, I got to keep the lights on around here. I got to keep the lights on around here. So if you're able to help keep the lights on around here, I would definitely appreciate that. Because independent media is very, very important and is very important in this regard. It is much better than the propaganda mainstream media that's out there. The mainstream propaganda media that's out there. ABC, CBS, Fox, you name it. We need voices. We need you. So if you're able to, you can either advertise on American Liberty Radio Network or you can become a patron. Drop $1 in the kitty to help us keep the lights on around here. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page. Every piece of information you need is right there. And also, to become a patron, there's a link there as well. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page. You can become an advertiser on the network, or you can become a patron. It's entirely up to you. Okay? It is entirely up to you. I would appreciate it because I'd like to keep the lights on around here and keep telling you what's going on. So consider it, folks. Consider supporting independent media. Consider supporting American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Go to the sponsors page. All the information is right there that you need. And folks, I shall be back right after this. Don't go away. This is American Liberty Radio Network. Shattering the lies and the disinformation. This is the American Liberty Radio Network. Broadcasting from FEMA Region 8. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
The people of the world are now seeing what the globalists have always intended. They are engaged in a campaign to rid the world of 90% of humanity. They are well on their way of achieving this. But, with the corrupt mainstream media aligning themselves with such diabolical philosophies, the globalists are now being exposed and the people are now seeing them for who they truly are. Thanks for the most part to the independent media revealing the connection of the mainstream media to globalists like George Soros and others who invest and spread disinformation.
Don't say you haven't been warned. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask the questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey, folks, welcome back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Folks, check this out. Breitbart.com. Mark Zuckerberg. We need a global superstructure to advance humanity. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg stated his belief that the world is in need of a global superstructure in the recent article from the New York Times Magazine. In the article titled, quote, "Can Facebook fix its own worst bug?" unquote, author Farhad Manjoo poses the question. Mark Zuckerberg now acknowledges the dangerous side of the social revolution he helped start, but is the most powerful tool for connection in human history capable of adapting to the world it created? The author met with Zuckerberg to discuss Facebook and many issues that the company faces. At one point, Zuckerberg discussed the need for the development of social infrastructure in order for humanity to, quote, get to the next level, unquote. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcasts. For all of you. I don't, and this is just me, folks. This is just me. I think it's time to find something other than Facebook. Google Plus is not too bad. Okay. I don't think it's too bad. There's a lot of crap on there as well. But I think if you sift through that, you'll find the things that you need. RT.com. RT.com. Pentagon overbills U.S. military for fuel to pour surplus into slush fund. Can we say black ops? Yeah, check that out. This overbilling the military has been going on for quite some time. The Pentagon overbilled the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Marines for fuel, pocketing the massive price differences to fill a slush fund used for inefficient or mismanaged defense programs, according to the Washington Post. The Department of Defense amassed $6 billion over the past 7 years by billing the U.S. Armed Forces excessive prices for fuel, the newspaper reports, citing official documents. The rates were often much higher than those paid by commercial airlines for jet fuel. Since World War II, the Department of Defense, which is the largest single consumer of fuel in the world, purchases all of its fuel, around 100 million barrels of refined petroleum annually, and resells it at fixed prices to the Air Force, Navy, Army, and Marine Corps. To procure fuel, each branch of the U.S. military pays for it out of their own budgets. The military standard fuel price is set by the Pentagon's comptroller in consultation with the Defense Logistics Agency and the White House's Office of Management and Budget. But the Pentagon raised the fixed fuel price, even at times when energy markets were in decline, the newspaper reported. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcasts as well. There's more to it, So yeah, that's been going on for many, many years. And it's basically out of control. The spending is out of control. So how do you curb the spending? How do you curb it? How do you oversee it? How do you make these politicians stay within the budgets they've created? Well, it's pretty simple. And I agree with current congressional frontrunner Greg Gianforte when he, and I could be wrong in this, he may have said it, somebody else may have said it, but I'm sure this has been said before by many other people, that if the Congress, both from my perspective, both federally and statewide, if Congress cannot come up with a budget and stick to it, the politicians that created that budget should not get paid at all, period. And I would even go as far as saying this: if they can't, within a year, come up with a budget and stick to it and follow through, then they should be fired. Immediately, the governor should come in and just fire their ass. You did not stick to your planned budget. You overspent here and here and here. The state can't afford it, and you need to be looking for a new job. When you look at your own home budget, you're not going to spend money you don't have, do you? You got credit cards maxed out. You got certain bills that are overdue. It's because you want stuff. And the federal government is no different. They want stuff. They spent billions of dollars on a piece of military equipment, an aircraft, which, number one, could not work properly and was dysfunctional the day it came off the assembly line. And they wasted billions of your money on that. Taxpayer money went to build that, and it was a total bust. So, yeah, fire their asses. Now, here's the other thing. Let's flip that coin over. Let's take a look at this. If the If the country took in so much money and spent way below that, I don't think we'd have a problem. But you still have to look at usdebtclock.org and see that we have a massive problem. And it's called, as I said before, overspending. If $1 in tax money came in, they'd spend $5. The current national debt is at 19 trillion. Yes, folks, trillion with a T. Over $19 trillion, closing in on $20 trillion. The U.S. federal tax revenue is $3.3 trillion. See the problem? U.S. federal spending is up 128% to $3.9 trillion. Okay? So there's a huge problem. Medicaid or Medicare, the largest budget items, is $1.1 trillion, where Social Security is $931 billion. Defense and war budgets, $587 billion. Net interest on debt is $262 billion. Federal pensions is $272 billion. Now, where am I getting these numbers? usdebtclock.org, which I will place on American Liberty Radio podcast right now. The numbers are just too enormous to even fathom, to even understand, to even comprehend how this whole country can be in that much of a hole. Now, usdebtclock.org, $19.9 trillion in debt. That's not counting derivatives. You know what derivatives are? I've talked to financial students, I've talked to financial people, and they cannot give me an actual definition of what a derivative is. So, as I have researched it and looked at it, here's what a derivative is. The politicians pull figures, imaginary figures, out of their minds and just say, this is what the number needs to be, this is what we're going to write down, and this is what it's going to be, because that's what we say it is. That's what... Here, let me make it simpler than that. You ever played the game Monopoly, the old school game Monopoly, where you had cash sitting in front of you? Yeah, that's Monopoly money. That's pretty much what a derivative is. It's pretty much what it is. Pretty much. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't. There's no... If the country continues to spend the way they do, and from what I can tell, their act of spending is ruining this country, and there is no end in sight to their spending, within a matter of months, if not several years, we're going to have a complete collapse of the United States of America economically. Oh, let me also say this, that the world's debt, who they owe this to, I don't know, but the world's debt is cruising around $70 trillion. Okay? It's not a matter of if the financial markets around the world are going to collapse. It's a matter of when. It's going to happen. I mean, there's no doubting that. It will happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen. We just have no clue as to the impact it's going to have, because it's from what some analysis or analysts, financial analysts have said, it's a lot worse than what we can imagine. So when you look at the unemployment rate, the actual unemployment rate, and that's also at usdebtclock.org. When you look at the actual unemployment rate, I think it's here. I'm looking now, and I'm trying to find it. And, full-time workers, 126 million people. We have 310 million or 315 million people here in the United States. U.S. population, 325 million people. U.S. workforce, 153 million. That's over a third of the people, folks. Official unemployed, 7 million people out of 325 million. U.S. excuse me. U.S. income taxpayers, 120 million. Actual unemployed, this is official unemployed, is 7 million people, over 7 million people, 7,005,607 people. The actual unemployed are 13,681,621 people. 13 million people, folks. Full-time workers, 126 million. Not in the labor force now, 94 million people. Self-employed, 8.4 million people. Okay. This is at usdebtclock.org. usdebtclock.org. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Now I don't understand why people can't grasp this whole idea that the United States of America is going to collapse. But I also don't understand why people who know this is going to happen don't try to find a way to alleviate the problems that are going to cause the collapse. And I don't think there's really that much that the public can do, because it will collapse. So get your food, get your emergency supplies together, make sure you got enough ammo, and sit tight, because, as I like to say sometimes, buckle up, folks, because this is going to be a roller coaster ride that's going to scare the crap out of you. The turbulence and aftermath of what's going to happen is just far beyond what I can imagine. And I can imagine a lot, but it is what it is. So as we look to the horizon, if you will, we have to really ask ourselves, I would say, a very pointed question, a very honest question, and that is real simple. Why are we in the situation we're in? And don't point your finger at the politician. Don't point your finger at the city council or county board of supervisors or law enforcement. Don't do that. Why are we in the shape that we are in? Why? I'll say it. Because we allowed to be deceived. We allowed ourselves to be deceived. Because we, at one point, thought that everything was going to be hunky-dory until, and you know as well as I do, that every politician who campaigns on a certain platform will always change his mind and flip-flop once he gets into office. We've allowed this to happen, folks. We've allowed this to happen. And basically, it's our fault. I was talking about hate, and just hate itself. I was talking about that in the first hour, and I gotta tell you, I mean, it is one of the most volatile words that you can ever come up with in terms of what this country truly needs. And what's the need of the country? The need of the country is the people standing up against corrupt government. That's the need of the country. Now, what are we going to get after that? I have no idea. People are going to try to still screw everybody else to get what they want, and I'm sure that's going to happen. But I mean, we can do as much as we can with within the capabilities that we have. But if we don't stop this out of control train from derailing, we're in for a rude awakening. What's the protocol? Trump arrives in Israel to be met by friend Netanyahu. U.S. President Donald Trump has landed in Israel, being welcomed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the entire cabinet after the Israeli leader made it mandatory for all ministers to attend the reception, having learned that some planned to skip the ceremony. This is the 22nd of May, 2017. And I'm going to put this up on American Liberty Radio podcast. It's important to know that there are a lot of other countries out there and some people in the United States that do not want peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the nation of the United States of America. Remember that, folks, because, it's happening. I mean, it's there. It's what it is. There's no getting around that. It's what it is. It's what it is, folks. We've put our priorities on the back burner when it comes to peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the nation. There are people out there, not me, I'm not speaking for myself, but there are people out there that just do not care. There are people out there who will work diligently. Oops, there's a message. There's people out there that will work diligently to take from you what you have earned and use it for whatever purposes that they see fit. Okay? In other words, they want stuff for free, and they're not going to tolerate anybody not giving it to them. And then you have the same faction of people. Then you have a portion of those people that will say, yeah, I'll work for it, but I want more. And they'll do everything to scam the whole system to get what they want. And that, to me, is pretty much unethical and immoral. And then, on the opposite side of that scale, you have people that work hard, that go to school, that learn, that they're innovative, they're resourceful, they make for themselves the lives that they desire. But then you have the other faction of people saying, well, we're going to take half of everything you have because we want it. There's no purpose to it. They just want it. They don't want to work for it. They don't want to work for anything. As I said in the first hour, they just want things handed to them. Give it to them for free. And I know damn well that they're not going to appreciate anything anybody gives to them. Because they don't. It's a known fact. But if you work for it, work hard for it, save your money to get whatever it is you want to get, you're going to appreciate it a hell of a lot more. Now, I could be overlooking something. I could be missing something in that analysis, but I don't think I am. I really don't think I am. And there are, I mean, I have to say this because it is my perspective and I have observed this. There are people out there that will bend over backwards to the people that, that don't want to work. And they'll give whatever they can give to them. And my question is that person doing it out of the kindness of their heart? Or are they doing it because, they just want to enable people to stay in this environment that they're in? I mean, that's good questions, obviously, and everybody has their own perspective of that. But then again, you have these people who, you've got the people that work hard for stuff and appreciate it. You got people that don't work at all, if very little, to get what they want and deceive the system to get what they want even more. But who's in the middle? Who hurts the most in that? That's where you have to look at for these people that want a better future for the United States of America, not the people that work hard and play hard and go out and do all that and have what they want. They invest to get that, and they're from the middle, section of the population who have worked hard to make a living for themselves. Then you have the opposite end of that scale where hardly anybody works and they scam the system to get what they want. But the people in the middle are the ones that are suffering the most because they're the ones that have to pay the most for either extreme to live. I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different perspective of it, and that's just mine. Everybody has a person that they know in business who has worked hard to get to where they are, and they can take vacations every year, and they have a nice house and all of this and a nice car. And then you probably know people on the opposite end of that scale who hardly have anything and want to scam the system to get what they want. Who's living, an excellent life? But more so, who's the unethical people here on each side of that scale? The middle people, the middle class, if you want to call them that, are the ones that are suffering and paying for the opposite extremes to live the way they do. That's my observation, folks. That's my opinion on that. Everybody has their own view of it. Everybody has their own perspective of it. That's fine. But that's mine. Folks, it's that time of day. I got to get out of here. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the address to email me. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is the website. Go check it out, folks. And, I'll be back tomorrow with another American Liberty Radio podcast. This is American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.